What is up, you guys? My name is Trisha and welcome back to the Discovery of Serenity. As you can clearly tell what's going on from the title, from the thumbnail, and from my setup over here, today I am sealing my candle vessels that I made. I'm going to be sealing all of these vessels today because I hope to be ready to make candles like within the next 2 days. Okay, so I just figured I will bring you guys along and show you what I'm doing and how to do this, because I know some of y'all got ambitious the same as I did and started to make your own candle vessels. So I just want to show y'all the process it takes after you create them. So I was supposed to go ahead and sand them because, like, as you can see, like the edges, oh maybe not this one, but let me show you one. Like the edges of this still look rough. I am still going to sand them down. It's just easier for me right now to seal them. I don't think it really matters much which order you do them in, but I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, I'm not really feeling good. I got a major headache and I just want to get this stuff done out of the way because I need to start planning my candles and I need to start planning the launch of these new candles. So let's get into the sealing of these vessels. Okay, so the things that you are going to need is, of course, you need a sealer. And I am using this Earth Safe Finishes Preserver Sealer. Now, let me tell y'all, before I do anything, I always do research. I try to figure out what's the best thing to use to avoid wasting money and products and things like that. So I did do a lot of research on what sealers work best. You know, there are talks about like polyurethane and that type of stuff. But I came across a few people talking about this Earth Safe Finishes. So I did go ahead and research that. So if you are somebody like me who's want to make sure your candle is 100% safe, not toxic, things like that, won't cause anything to happen once the flame is in there, I found that this one seems to be the best. This says no VOC, water-based, non-toxic, made in the US, no heavy metals, no animal testing, right? And then with this, it says it completely seals furniture, new or old wood, cabinets, crafts, project walls, inside and outside, wood floors, terracotta, cement, brick, concrete, and more. So it says keeps the internal moisture in and the external moisture out. So the reason why you want to go ahead and seal your cement vessels when you create them is, if y'all hear noises, please, my bunny is out and he's just doing the most right now, but that's who they. Okay, but as I was saying, you want to seal your vessels because if you do not seal them, then that is a very, very, very high potential that the wax that you put in here will seep out to the end, to the outside of this vessel, and it's going to cause like spots and stuff to be on your vessel, and it's not going to be cute. The reason for the sealer is it creates a barrier, right? So everything that's inside stays in, everything that's outside stays out. Me personally, I only seal the inside of these vessels. I do not seal the outside, simply because I just kind of like the look of it as it is on the outside. I like it to stay how it is. Now, if I could leave the inside the way that it is, I wouldn't waste time on it, but I do not want wax seeping out into the outside of the vessel and making it look ugly, because we're not doing ugly over here, okay? So in order to do this, so of course you need the sealer. You're gonna need like one of these little foam type brushes, and I'm gonna give you a tip, right? When you get these, and this one is the bigger one. I have a smaller one, but I don't have any more of them, so I'm going to use this one for today. It should be okay. Just a tip for you: when you get ready to seal your vessels, I highly recommend that you seal a bunch of them all at one time. The reason why is these brushes are not reusable. Once the sealer is in these, it gets hard, right? So, which is why I wanted to wait until all of these that I made kind of dried out, and then we can seal them all at the same time. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's really all you need to do it. I do have this bottle here, this spray bottle, which is just alcohol. So before I start with the sealer, I like to clean them out first, and I just go into the inside of my vessel just to make sure it is completely cleaned out and ready, so that when I go ahead and apply the sealer, there's nothing, like no dust or nothing that's gonna prevent it to go in a certain spot or make it look crummy or whatever. I don't want no issues with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean these out. Okay, and while I work on sealing these, I just thought I'd chat with y'all real quick. So if you are just starting your candle business or just want to make candles, you know, just something to do, then if this is a hobby for you, then it may be easier and maybe cheaper just to get a vessel that you like to make a candle in. But if you are starting like a business where you want to distribute them in any kind of way, I personally recommend that you create your own vessels out of cement. And the reasons why I think that you should, and the same reason why I did, is because creating your own vessels, though it is a little bit more work, like the first reason is that your vessels come out so much cheaper. So I was getting my candle jars from like Candle Science and Amazon. Although I like them, I always felt like they was missing something, but I was paying like, I think they averaged, like the cheapest ones that I was getting was like $3 for $3 a jar. If you're just making one candle, no big deal, right? It's not that expensive. When you're making a bunch of them, you have to continuously buy jars, and sometimes they're not in stock and things like that. It costs you a little bit more money. But on the other hand, if you're making them yourself, you're just getting the material to make them, which is really just cement oil. Honestly, all you need is cement oil and distilled water. That's legit all you need. And if you want to add color, you would get titanium. You would get like titanium dioxide powder or some type of pigment, cement pigment, or you can use the acrylic paint. A lot of people use it, and a lot of people have been successful with the acrylic paint. I just don't like it. Okay, I'm not gonna say I don't like it. I am gonna say I don't like it. I don't like it. I definitely prefer the powders better to blend them in, mix them in, because the paint is, to me, is a little harder to work with. At least I haven't figured out how to work with them yet, but that's just to me. Okay, so like I said, I recommend the powder, which makes it a little bit more expensive, but when you think about it, like, the powder is fully within your control. I use more white than anything because I like my jars to look like white. All of that being said, I think when you start to make them yourself, they come out to less than $1. The bag of cement oil, I got the last time I got a 55 pound bag, it is like $30. I can make who knows how many jars I can make with that. That's just something to think about. You have to think about it cost wise, the first way. And then the second reason why I think that you should maybe work on creating your own is because you can personalize them, you can customize them however you want to. Like, nobody else's jar is gonna look like yours. No two jars gonna even look the same. So I think that's a benefit. It'll help you kind of stand out a little bit. You know, just create something that's beautiful every time. Like, they all very much unique. And my thing that I didn't like about the jars is that I always felt like they were missing something. And to get it the way I wanted would be expensive, because I'm bougie a little bit. All I did was dip the brush into the sealer, and y'all, when I tell y'all, like, a little bit goes a long way. So this is all that I'm at first. And what I like to do in the beginning is I like to kind of go around the bottom, like the crack of the bottom. This is not the brush that I normally use. Again, this is a bigger one, but we're gonna make it work. So I like to go around the crack of the bottom, make sure it's all in there and sealed, and then go through the bottom. And you just keep dipping. And y'all, a little bit definitely goes like a really long way. I like to go up and down first, all the way around the whole thing. I just like to go from the bottom to the top. And again, it's no right or wrong way to do this. And depending on the brush you use is the only reason I think it will matter, because you don't want strokes. Like, I can already tell I don't like this big brush because it's a little bit harder to work with, but it will still get the job done. I just like have a little bit of OCD, so I kind of like everything to look perfect. And you just gonna keep dabbing this slightly. And the cool thing about this with the cement is you can kind of tell what you did already, what you sealed already, because the sealant on it makes the candle jar look darker on the inside. It makes it look a little bit darker, which makes it easier for you to know which part you did already. So I just go around this whole thing and I try to make sure everything is even, because I don't want no problems. I don't really get streaks in my jars, and I like to keep it that way, but that's, you know, just kind of what you focus on when you are doing it. It's just, that's why I try to go the same direction every time, all the way around. I don't skip around. I don't do bouncing or nothing of that stuff. I just go, take my time with it and just go one part at a time. So you just go around it. I'm just gonna go around it one time, then, and we're gonna let it sit. And it's usually, it dries really, really fast. It's usually like, I give it like 30 minutes to an hour, and then I come back and do a second coat. Okay, and another reason why I think you should consider making your own vessels is it gives you an opportunity to tap into that, like, home decor. Candles fall in home decor anyway, because a lot of times people don't even care. I ain't gonna say a lot of times people just buy candles when they cute and they like the look of them, what they represent. But if you have something that's pretty or something that's aesthetic, people are more inclined to buy it because it fits in with their theme of their house and it looks good. So when you make your own, you have a real opportunity to showcase like a art, like it looks like art. And because I know that's true, because that's how I buy stuff. If it looks pretty, I think about the aesthetic it's gonna give, and if it fits in with my aesthetic, then I buy it. And 9 times out of 10, like, people like stuff that looks custom. People like stuff that looks expensive. If you have a cement vessel that does not look like anything else, people sometimes assume it costs more. So people like buying stuff that looks expensive. They like buying stuff that makes them look like they paid a pretty penny for it. And on top of that, you can probably get more for it. You feel me? Like, you can tap into a higher, sell them for more because they are custom. And most people, I ain't gonna say all people, most people understand that custom costs more because it's an item specifically made just for a purpose or a person. When you can't go into the store and just buy this again, people value it. That's something else to keep in mind. And then a good selling point for these is, once you're done with the candle, once people finish with the candle, you can do one of two things. You can reuse it for something else, you can repurpose it for something else, or you can put another candle in it. And the good thing about these is, a lot of people that I've seen, honestly, they will take these, and once it's finished, they put plants in them. It goes from one home aesthetic to another one, honestly. If you ask me, there are a lot of benefits of creating your own jars. Yes, it may seem intimidating at first, but I promise y'all, it's so much fun. Well, once you figure out all the calculations and once you realize it, you can stop wasting money on, failed attempts and things like that. It really is therapeutic. I think it's a lot of fun to me. I love sitting here making these. I love just knowing that my brain came up with something. Not necessarily my brain, but, well, yeah, true. Just knowing that I created something with my own hands, to me, is so much more rewarding. And to know that this whole product, the candle, the vessel, everything came from me, is like, you get filled with so much pride and joy. Like, I took my time with this, I worked on this, I labored over this, just for it to be special for somebody else. It's like instant gratification. And then when you see it and you know your product is working good, it's like a whole different ballgame. Like, no lie. Like, the first one that I made, y'all, even though now I look at it, I think it's really, really ugly. I was so freaking excited. I was so excited to be doing it. Like, wow, I really actually thought that this is what I wanted to do, and I figured out how to do it, and I got it done. So if you are just like intimidated by doing it, or don't know how to do it, or something like that, it's really, really easy, y'all. Like, I promise, it's really, really easy. Now, what I'm doing is, because these are bigger, I'm using the bigger brush with this one, because I don't have to get like around the edges or anything like that. There's really no edge in this one, so it's easier to use the big brush. And all I'm doing is just going around it. Just keep going around, making sure there's no streaks and making sure everything is covered. I mean, you're gonna see streaks in it. Let me not say that. There are going to be streaks, but not thick streaks. Okay, and then I take a little bit and just go through the bottom. And after I go on the bottom, I do go back and go up the sides again. Just because I just really want things to look as neat as possible. Okay, so now that all of these have been done, I'm gonna let them sit for a few minutes. It's probably been about maybe 20 or 30 minutes since I started the first one, but I'm gonna let them sit for like an hour, and then I'm gonna come back and do the second coat on them. But that's pretty much all you do when you seal these up. So I think it'll be pointless to show y'all again me doing the same exact thing. You can go through it. You can do it 2 coats, 3 coats, however much you want to do, however many coats until your little heart is content. I have sealed these before, and I actually put candles in them, and 2 coats work perfectly fine. Like, I've never had any of them seep. I've never had anything leak. Yeah, so I guess that'll be the end of today's video. If you're feeling courageous, go ahead and create your own cement vessels. I promise you're gonna love the process. You're gonna love what it turns out to be, and it's gonna make you a little bit of money. Okay, so the next time you see me with these vessels will more than likely be when I'm pouring the candles in them. So if you are interested in that, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel and turn on your post notifications so that you do see when I do post a new video. Yeah, so that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.